Hi, I'm Christine, also from New Zealand. I just wanted to pick up, I think, on what Rosemary said about not being swayed by all these new gadgets when we have the fundamentals of Parliament that we need to uphold. Speaking as one of those horrible Generation Y people that you hear about, we're apathetic, our attention span's about 2 minutes, and we text because we don't like to talk. I just wondered what the perspective was on how Parliament is going to change as the generations become more like Generation Y, where we won't read Hansard because we can watch it on video, and we don't really mind if we can't talk to our member in person because we're Facebook friends with him. So I just wondered how you thought Parliament might adjust to that, not straight away, but in the future, and when we become members as well.
I suggest you learn to talk. If you're going to stand for Parliament, I suggest you learn to talk, because at the heart of a parliamentary process is talking. In the same place, ideally talking to each other and having a dialogue. Yesterday in the Senate, round about lunchtime, there was a bill being debated, and it was a bill to amend the Evidence Act in relation to journalistic privilege. And the most fantastic debate took place, the most fantastic three-way interchange between the government representative, the opposition representative and the Greens representative, who were considering the impact of widening the application of this particular legislation by one word. It was a wonderful interchange, and that's what Parliament is about. And if Generation Y is going to persist in wanting to have its information through Facebook and through texting because it doesn't want to talk to a real person, then let's all pack up and go home. I don't see a future.
Thanks, Rosemary. Just to reinforce what Rosemary said, I mean, it is true, as Andy said and others, that there's this huge media focus on question time, and we can't change that because I suppose it's news and it's current and it's immediate, and they've seen the place for better or for worse. But every day in both chambers, and I'm sure in parliaments in Wellington and all around the world, there's all this lower profile, constructive work being done, talking. We think that probably more than 60% of the legislation going through the federal parliament is either supported completely by both sides or substantially, but there's no news in that. But it is about talking, and there's wonderful work done in the plenaries and in the committees. And one of the jobs, I suppose, for people in the parliamentary service in the Senate and the Reps and in the library here is to try and just let people know, hang on, there's a little bit more to this place than the 90 minutes of sort of structured conflict that gets the big attention. Yeah.
Which is the least parliamentary part of the day, really, isn't it, Bernard?
Can I just surprise a few people and agree with Rosemary? Particularly her earlier comment about committees and going out. And no, video doesn't work compared to face-to-face. When you're trying to do, there are some things that you just do have to do face-to-face. The debate in Parliament, the one-on-one that you do with constituents, the going out and taking evidence, it is far better done face-to-face. Let's not kid ourselves that technology provides a panacea and a solution to everything. It doesn't. There are some things we can do better face-to-face. However, now I'll be back on track. Most people are not interested in what happens in this building. Most people do not understand what happens in this building. Most people have no idea how Parliament works. If you walked out into the street, okay, Canberra is a bad example. If you walked out into the street of most cities and asked 100 people what Parliament did, they go, dunno. And how do we know this? Because we've asked them. We've just run some focus groups in the UK asking people off the street in London what the key political issues are. In a time of enormous political turmoil, they don't know. They have no or very little awareness. And this is where I pick up on Christine's point. If social media, if Facebook, if Twitter, if YouTube can increase the level of awareness and the level of interest and the level of knowledge by even 1%, then it's worked. And that's what we've got to do. Not lose what we have already, but change how we do things outside of it so that we can increase our reach and we can reach more people and we can bring more people in. It comes back to the point I made earlier and the point I made on Wednesday. It is about relationships and it's about social capital. When we have the distance from the institution, when we have a distance from politicians, we don't trust them as much, we don't engage with them, and we don't see their relevance. Yet when we talk about the issues that matter to us, health, education, roads, whatever it is, we do take it personally. We're issues driven these days. And increasingly the younger generation are focused on much more emergent, viral, quick changing topics of interest. Social media is a way to do that, and Parliament does have, and members do have, a role and a duty to use those technologies to communicate better, and perhaps through that build engagement, and then the generation that Christine talks about and is proudly a member of will actually become engaged in debate and will take up these challenges and will become involved in politics.
And can I surprise everybody by agreeing with Andy? Because the goal, I would hope, is more informed voters. That's really the goal. It's terribly disappointing to know that people who have a vote, and perhaps it's more acute here, Andy, because voting is compulsory, whereas in Britain it's you choose to vote or not. But here, where we have compulsory voting, it's a terribly disturbing thought that people just don't give up about the national parliament, the whole system of representation. So the more that we can do to interest people and inform them, I think that's all to the good.